Muted. That's not great. Well, can we just start the whole show over again? Like, I know this isn't like good old podcast days, but there's so many bad things happening right now. Would you mind if we just started?
Right. Ready?
Hold on. No, I really want to start the whole show over again because
Go. Take two.
Take two because I didn't do the intro animation either. Can we do the whole thing over again?
I'm ready when you are.
All right, so I'm gonna go back into pre-show. I'm just gonna do, and we're gonna go back into the look. This is cool. See, wasn't that worth starting over again? That super awesome intro animation, man, it's so hot. Anyways, hi everybody, and welcome to Slash Yell, the show where we do two takes, even though it's a live show, just like nothing else in existence. This is the show where we talk about MMO news for the week. We discuss and debate and yell at each other, and it's all kinds of fun.
That's not the point of this one, but you know, okay.
But we do it anyways.
Yeah, I mean, but that's because you're a horrible human being.
Fuck you. Indigo, how was your week, buddy?
My week was good. I had some friends over at the QueueTimes house, aka my house.
It's just Indigo's house.
And we played some video games. We didn't play. Actually, we did play some video games. I got a friend of mine who is a big chicken to play a game called Outlast. And while she was in the other room playing Outlast with two small children who loved scary games for some reason, they were in one room playing while the rest of us were playing board game. And every once in a while, you just hear shit.
What fucking shit? And it's funny because this is like a small like girl, and she like immediately turned into like, oh my god, I hate you, like really gruff and scary voice. My week was the same because I did the same stuff as Indigo because we're friends. So moving on to the news in Slash Zone, talking about Black Desert Online.
Yes.
Knock yourself out, bro.
Okay, so Black Desert Online has posted on their official forums a dev communication, which I'm going to be sending the link out to you guys. And if you guys are listening to us on a podcast, you guys can go ahead and follow through with the notes on QueueTimes.com. We have all of our show notes right there ready to go.
What the fuck was that?
Oh, no, I was getting a phone call.
Oh, tell them to go fuck themselves.
So the dev connection. So one of the things that now it's my time to go backwards. Okay. So Black Desert Online, there's a dev communication that happened there, posted on their official forums. So they had a ghillie suit costume that you could get and wear. Well, they had to change it up a bit because they realized that it was giving players unfair advantages.
Yeah.
And
for those of you that don't know, the ghillie suit hid your name. Like, so if you were hiding behind some brush, a normal player wouldn't be able to look at the brush and see your name tag and know that you're in there, kind of thing. So it did give people an unfair advantage. It was also the only cosmetic piece that gave you any kind of modified experience whatsoever. So everybody was super confused as to why it existed. But I think they were funding people because they removed that, right?
Well, so they removed that because, again, it gave the unfair advantage. And so if you bought it between May 18th and June 14th, they're going to go ahead and give you a refund if you bought it between that time. You can still buy the ghillie suit. It just doesn't have that additional feature. That being said, there is also some positive stuff in this. And this was actually something that the community had a bunch of questions. And so they basically said, all right, these are the big hot topics. We're just going to do one post and answer them. Another one is that there's going to be some new class changes. The overall balance is going to be changing and upgrading. And then someone asked, hey, are we going to be needing to do, how difficult is it going to be doing skill tree changes, because with the unbalance, will we receive a free change? And they said, actually, sort of. We're actually going to completely redo the skill tree system. We're revamping it and changing it. And so when that happens, you will be getting that. But something that they did that I thought was really awesome, and I really super appreciate that they did this, is that they said, okay, but in the meantime, we're also going to remove the following things from the cash shop, which is a partial and all awakening skill tree reset. So those are three different tiers: partial skill set, all skill set, and an awakened skill set reset. So instead of saying, hey, we're going to be making this change in the next couple weeks, spend all your money and we'll take all your money, they're like, no, we're going to be fair, we're going to stop it now so that you don't feel cheated when you get a free one coming up.
Exactly.
I thought that was really great.
That is really smart. And it's not just like fair, it's also going to prevent a fuck ton of backlash that they would have gotten had they not done it.
Absolutely.
Which is super awesome. Moving on to Black Desert. Moving on to Blade and Soul, because both of those games start with a B and I always get the names confused. Blade and Soul announced a new class, which is the Soul Fighter, which looks really fucking cool. So there's a video in the show notes, which is basically just a link to the Blade and Soul website that shows off the class. The class is going to release on June 22nd, so that's in like 3 days, 4 days, 3 days, 3 days.
Yeah, I think so.
And it looks really exciting. So it's a stance-based class. It has 2 stances. One elemental stance that's like ranged, control. It's like high burst damage, high cooldowns, and it's designed to be like the less skill cappy version of the class. And then there's the Kung Fu stance. Go ahead.
I'm gonna step away for a second.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm gonna step away for a second. Sorry.
Indigo's gonna go deal with work stuff.
Yup.
Have fun, buddy. There's also the Kung Fu stance, which is the melee damage stance, which is supposedly much higher damage and based on positioning, because apparently the damage scales up when you're behind the character, which is super awesome. I love positioning-based games and like positioning-based mechanics. And it supposedly has a much higher skill ceiling than the elemental stance. But the skill ceilings of the 2 stances are sort of irrelevant because you can switch between them on the fly in the middle of combat whenever you want, which makes this class super great, in my opinion. The Blade and Soul developers classify it as a hybrid class, supposedly the second hybrid class that Blade and Soul has, which is awesome. I love hybrid classes, and I really want to see it happen, or want to see it played in PvP, because that PvP is just so ridiculously like based, especially 1v1 PvP, where you have like, okay, I'm playing against my direct counter, I'm kind of fucked. I think maybe hybrid classes like this will bring a little bit more flavor to PvP, where you can say like, I don't necessarily have a direct counter, like I'm going to stay in Kung Fu stance as long as possible and switch to elemental stance if I run up against this person. Or you'll kind of like have a specific stance that you want to live in based on what you're playing against. I think that's a really interesting mechanic. The Soul Fighter has a resource called Chi, which is a resource that's built when he attacks in either of his stances and can be spent on more powerful attacks, just like most of the characters in Blade and Soul, which is great. That is essentially the Soul Fighter in a nutshell, and I'm really excited to see it happen. There's also one more piece of Blade and Soul news, and I'm really sad that Indigo isn't sitting here for this specific piece of news, because it is that the Blade and Soul has had a summer store update, and it is the most bikini-laden update for a cash drop that I've ever seen in my entire life. It's literally just bikinis. Everybody's just wearing a bikini. It's gross, especially those like the tiny class that looks really small, like tiny rats. I forget what they're called. But they're also in bikinis, and it doesn't really look okay. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. It's, oh god, not safe for work at all. If somebody at work sees you looking at this specific link, they might think you're kind of weird. Next piece of news. Elder Scrolls Online. The Dark Brotherhood is now out. Apparently, and this is Indigo's thing, he thinks it looks cool enough that he wants to get back into the game. So he and I are going to jump back into the game, maybe today, actually. We might go offline for a bit and then come back and start streaming Elder Scrolls Online. I've personally never played the game, but I've obviously been following it a lot because of the show, and I've kind of wanted to try it for a while. I've never really had a reason to, because Doc and Indigo don't really want to play it, or didn't really want to play it, and now they're going to jump back in, so I'm going to jump back in with them and see if it's as fun as people think it is. But yeah, Dark Brotherhood is something we've talked about a lot. If you want to take a listen to some of the Dark Brotherhood news that we've discussed, you can look at past shows. I might edit in a little clip audio right here to tell you what shows they are, because I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, I'm excited to see if the Dark Brotherhood's as cool as it is supposed to be. A lot of roguey, stabby, stealthy combat. The best kind of combat. The Secret World is introducing the Museum of the Occult, which is awesome. We had talked about this before, last week maybe, which is essentially a trophy room where you get to show off all the creatures you've killed in the world. You can murder something and then get its character model and put it in your museum, which is really great. Kind of similar, and I think this is what we said last time, kind of similar to WildStar's trophy system, where you had a specific part of the world and you'd go there, you'd put up your achievements kind of like on these specific pedestals. But the difference is that in the Secret World, it's more dynamic. You can choose where things go. You can kind of like pick how things are displayed. It's supposed to represent what you thought were your greatest achievements in the Secret World, as opposed to WildStar, which is just, these are all of the achievements you've done that we've deemed have a specific model that you can place somewhere, which is fine. And WildStar had housing, so it didn't really need to have a great achievement trophy room thing, because housing was just 1,000 times better than both of these things combined. Yeah, so that's cool. This is one that I really wanted to get to. So the Division we talked about last week, and the Division was having some player problems, and that was all, sad, wah, wah, boo, boo. The Division doesn't have any players anymore. Well, okay, it has 150,000 players, but it doesn't have 2 million players anymore. This is an interesting piece of news. So we got some information about patch 1.3 and the gear set bonuses that are going to be put in place for patch 1.3. We're on 1.2 currently, so this isn't, I don't know when patch 1.3 is coming out, but when patch 1.3 comes out, you can expect some of these really crazy gear set bonuses. So I just pulled the 4-piece bonus for 4 of the sets. Excuse me while I cough all over the place. I pulled 4 of the 4-piece bonuses for each of the sets, because the 4-piece bonuses are insane. Each piece or each set also has a 3-piece bonus and a 2-piece bonus, but they're, less exciting. So there's one called Blind. It's actually Blind. And if you have 4 pieces in the Blind set, your kills cause flashbang explosions. So every time you kill anything, it causes a flashbang explosion. That's insane. There's Firecrest. 4-piece bonus is killing an enemy with fire grants 10 seconds to incendiary bullets. 10 seconds of incendiary bullets, so you don't even have to have it up at the time. That's insane, because his other 2 bonuses basically make your incendiary bullets last for fucking ever. There's Frontline. The 4-piece bonus is you can use an SMG with a ballistic shield as opposed to just a pistol like a normal pleb would, which is insane. And then this one I love, the Reclaimer. This is like the best support set I've ever seen. 4 pieces of Reclaimer gear. Your consumables / special ammo affect your whole squad and aren't consumed on use. So you're just a spammy little heal, ammo, heal, ammo, while the Frontline guy's sitting in front of you with his ballistic shield that has 100% damage resistance and plus 300% health, because those are the other 2 parts of his. He's just absorbing all the damage while you're spamming bullets and heals. And then the Firecrest guy is just spamming, flaming death all over the place, and the Blind guy and the enemies are just can't see. This is insane. If there was a team of these 4 fully kitted gear sets, it's unstoppable unless they're going against another team of the same caliber, in which case, whatever. A movable object versus unstoppable force. I'm excited to see videos of this. I don't think I'll ever get to the point where I have these gear sets in their entirety, but I'm excited to see other people, especially the Blind one. I want to see somebody in full blind gear at a zone that's way lower than their level, just spray bullets into a crowd of enemies and just watch them all die and become flashbangs. That would be hilarious. I'm excited for that. That's going to be really exciting. Final Fantasy might be joining the Xbox One family. Maybe. This is a rumor. We don't have tinfoil hat time on this show like we did on Strange Tales from Outer Space, but if we did, this would be tinfoil hat time. This is still a rumor. But we might be getting Final Fantasy on Xbox One in 2016. So we're in June of 2016 right now. Still have a couple months, 6 months left of 2016. It might be coming to Xbox One. We don't have any details as to whether there's going to be cross-playability between platforms. We don't have any details on the pricing, if there is going to be pricing or what's happening on that front or anything. We just have a strangely confirmed rumor from Gamerscape that it might be coming to Xbox, which I don't know if that's going to increase their player base very much, but anyways. WildStar. There's a 3rd Dev Connect on how to make WildStar more alt-friendly, and there's a lot of awesome stuff coming out of that Dev Connect. There's a number of amp power upgrades and ability tier points will now be account tradable, so that you can unlock them on one character and share them with all your alts. There's a big old fucking list, and I don't want to read through. It's not that long. I'll read through it. So there's the Ship Hands amp power upgrade, the Crimson Badlands, Northern Waste, Starcom Station, the Prestigious one, the Renowned one, the Adventure one, the Blighthaven one, the Defile one, the Prestigious Ability one, as opposed to the amp one, and the Renowned Ability one and the Arctera Ability one. All of those will be account tradable. And good. That's a good step in making WildStar more alt-friendly. Indigo's back. Welcome back, buddy. Can't hear you. Unmute your shit.
Wow, you made it pretty far. Did you skip some, or did you actually read all?
Just read through them because it's hard to not go slowly when there's nobody to bounce stuff off of.
Hey, well, I'm gonna tell you this. Did you know 6 months?
6 months?
Yep, I could live 6 months.
Indigo's referencing the amount of time that he can survive without a job.
Hey, well, can we talk about a couple things?
Yeah. Do you have some stuff to add about stuff
for the ESO?
This is gonna be the weirdest fucking podcast ever.
Yeah, well, I mean, I already sent you and Adarok a message on Slack. I said I never ever want to do a show where Adarok's gone and I'm on call.
I'm down.
Yeah, exactly. So ESO, I'm really excited about this
update, Dark Brother.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Like, I don't know if you watched the trailer or not.
Yeah, we did a bunch of coverage on Dark Brother.
Yeah, and now it's officially out. Is the key to. I just kind of just like gave it a shun because it was ESO, and I was like, not whatever. But looking into it, it kind of got me hyped. It was like, wow, this is really interesting. This is really cool. And I was just kind of like, all right, well, I've got the game. I just got to download it. Maybe I'll try to, I was like, all right, I'm definitely going to give this a second try because it got me going. And the trailer should be doing that. No matter what MMO you're making, you need to be making trailers where it doesn't just appeal to players that are currently in the game, also players that should be coming back. Yeah, exactly. Or never have been in game.
So are we playing it today? Are you going to download it today?
Yeah, I can download it tonight.
Do you want to
play it? Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's
a date.
Okay, we're going to keep going back. What was your opinion about the Secret World's British Museum of Occult?
Are you talking about the Museum of the Occult? I didn't know it was called British Museum of the Occult, so I just skipped reading the British part. But I think it's good. I think it's a good step in like the customization direction, but I don't think it's like in the current scene of MMO customization of areas, like WildStar wins and nothing will get there.
Well, I don't think it's supposed to compete with that. Like, I don't think it's the same.
If you just take it for what it is, like a way to show off your achievements, it's way better than most other MMOs have for showing off your achievements. It's not just like a fucking list, I can't help but compare it to WildStar.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a list, and what I do like about it is because it's not like you're going and having to buy stuff to get this stuff. You're actually going through the game and playing a game. Yeah, you're working for it. And I really like that aspect of it. And I do like the fact that when you kill a certain boss or a mob that you're actually getting the artwork from the game, and then you can upgrade them and have different attack like formations for them. I thought that was really interesting.
You can have different attack formations for them?
Okay, so when you defeat the boss or defeat that character, so say it's an achievement for killing character A, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you get it, you're gonna get that statue of character A on the wall, right? Or in the museum.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can upgrade the characters, and I believe it's by doing additional stuff in the game, and I believe it's through like the monetization of the game, not like, hey, pay $10, but it's like, oh, well, it's going to cost you X gold to be able to do this, right?
Gotcha.
What will happen is the models will actually physically change, and they're supposed to be the more you upgrade it, the more interesting and cool the attack formations will be.
So it goes from like a mob just standing there to like holding up the sword to like stabbing somebody in the mouth kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
sort of. Not really.
But that's the
yeah, that's cool. Like I do definitely like it as a method of showing off achievements. I hope people get into it, and I think if there's any community that will get into something like that, it'll be the Secret World, because it's really like what achievements should be, as opposed to what they are now, which is just like a notification and a list, and that's like the achievement system, And even in WildStar, which has housing that I'm comparing all of this stuff to, their achievement system is utter garbage because I can't even look at somebody else's achievements.
Yeah.
Like, which is Why are they there? Like, I can
Yeah,
only look at my own achievements. What?
you can't compare them, and then when you get the achievement, you aren't given like each achievement you have has a little symbol or logo that goes with it,
Mm-hmm.
and when you get it, it doesn't
Do
show
anything.
it to you. It just it's a box that text goes like achievement granted, you know, blah blah blah, and you're like, all right, get off my screen, I'm trying to kill stuff. But if it was more of like, you know, more flashy, like they're leveling, you
Yeah,
know,
and
fuck
it
yeah,
happened out of
cupcakes.
combat. That would be great.
Yeah. All right, sorry. We can progress forward in the progression of the show now that we've gone back to talk about the two things that I really wanted to talk about.
Well, did you see all the division things? Do you have any thoughts about these? Because they're fucking OP as balls. So there's one that all of your kills cause flashbang explosions. There's one where all of your kills with fire grant 10 seconds of incendiary bullets. There's one that allows you to use an SMG with a ballistic shield. And there's one that makes it so that your consumables and special ammo affect your whole squad and aren't consumed on use. So you have infinite special ammo that affects your entire squad. You just have to worry about cooldowns.
All of it sounds cool, but I mean, the fact is that we just reported at the fact that 90 some odd % of their player base is
Yeah,
left.
but they still have 150,000 people.
The fact that, yeah, I get you. It's a lot, but it's also strung across 3 different consoles that aren't, you know, communicating with each other. So
I think
you're more looking at 50,000 per location, assuming that they're even, you know.
I think they'll be fine.
No, I'm not saying that they're doing horribly. I mean, I think they made their money back and then some on sales. I don't think they're worried about anything.
No.
But mixed with the fact that they've dropped in that and the fact that they've been having bug problems like crazy, I don't know. I've kind of stepped away from the division for a little while. I'm not too happy with their performances. So,
womp womp. I remember we were so excited about that game for so long.
We were, and I was very excited for it. The issue I have is it didn't have replayability. Once you got in there and you've done all the missions and stuff like that, it's like, all right, your daily quest, redo the missions.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, all right, okay.
And then once your friends got ahead of you, it was just a grind to catch up with your friends, and it was just like, ugh.
It needed to be less first-person shooty and more MMO-y. Does that make sense?
That's why you're not a game dev, because that's how you're describing that problem. Less first-person shooty and more MMO-y. Can it be less blue and more like blue?
Yeah, that's an artist, all right? That's how artists work.
Yeah, that's what you sound like.
All right, let's move on. Arcterra stuff, were you going to talk about that, or did you already
go ahead and
through all
talk
the
about Arcterra stuff?
I didn't know anything
Promissory.
about it.
Oh, you put this
I
in
literally
here.
copied and pasted it.
Wow, you're a pleb. So we have a quote from the Dev Connect that was as follows: "We are transitioning promissory notes from a physical item to an account-wide currency, yay more currency, that can be accessed across your alts," which is fitting the theme with this Dev Connect, making the game more alt-friendly. And we are expanding reputation turn-ins to include leveling factions as well. This will not affect our most recent reputations like Arcterra, but look for those to be included over time as we begin to focus on newer content. We realize one of the primary benefits of such a change was easier acquisition for amp and ability points, but this should still provide better access to decor, pets, and gear across all of your characters while making reputation grind a bit less daunting for all you completionists out there. For many of you, this will mean a bit more free space in your banks and inventories as well. Smiley face, which is good. I'm having a hard time saying yay because more currencies, and that's bad, just in my opinion, like always, especially for WildStar that has like over 9,000 currencies.
Well, it says we're transitioning promissory notes from a physical item to an account-wide currency.
Yes. Does that not make sense to you?
No, it does. I don't know. We always bitch about too many currencies.
Yeah, in the vein, like if you look at it from the perspective of being alt-friendly, like sure, that's cool, but there's just too many currencies still. Just take some away.
This is the thing. We bitch about this, but there are more currencies in World of Warcraft than there are in...
Are there?
Yeah.
I've never noticed. I've absolutely never noticed. I just used gold.
Yeah, well, that's what you use to buy most of your stuff.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different WildStar hype. No, I don't know. I'm glad that they're making these. I wanted to put this topic in here because I really do think that people need to use the dev connection system that they're implementing, and I love that they're doing it. And I think that it progresses them and makes the game better as a whole.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, hey, let's find out what the players legitimately want, find out what they're saying, and see what we can do. Because sometimes players have really good ideas.
Although I will say, like, salty, skeptical Croog, you can probably just, decide, okay, we're going to make the game more alt-friendly. This is how we're going to make the game more alt-friendly. Okay, now post in the forums and ask how they want us to be more alt-friendly. Okay, now just do the things that we were going to do anyways because somebody probably said it. Like, let's be honest, that's probably what's happening, right?
It's very possible. I want to go through and actually like see how many people voted for what on the last dev connection of like what character / race combo do you want to see, because I swear Mordish Esper had to have won, but no.
I don't think Mordish. No, Chua Warrior definitely won. Are you joking? Just because you wanted Mordish Esper.
Or an engineer won.
Maybe Mordish Esper was above or an engineer, but definitely not Chua Warrior. Chua everything was gonna win, hands down.
But I mean, Mordish Esper, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Anyways,
give the people what people want.
So we're gonna move over to World of Warcraft, which has a huge.
This is an enormous update. This is gonna be like 45 minutes of discussion. So sorry, guys. This is gonna take forever.
This is why I had to come back. I was on the phone. I said, "Fuck you guys." There's really important World of Warcraft patch notes I gotta go over. So I'm just gonna read them word for word.
You said that for reals.
I'm going to read these patch notes word for word, so bear with me. So first patch note is fixing an issue where it could prevent players from opening titanium lockboxes or have no loot when open, and then that's it.
Woo! Thanks. Wow.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
They're super just ready for Legion.
Yep.
Like
they don't give a fuck anymore.
They're just like, all right, fix whatever we have to fix, like stuff that's like legit.
Preventing people from spending money with us.
Yeah. And then, but fuck everything else. They're like hyping for Legion, and I don't think they want to do any large fixes because it's going to directly. Yeah, it's directly going to affect how Legion comes out. So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
But that's it for our news this week. That's the general news. We're going to go into our next category, which is LFG, which is our beta discussion where we talk about games that have not released or have released and are currently going through a beta process. Right. So the first game we're going to talk about is my favorite, the game that I'm the most hyped about that hasn't come out yet, which is Crowfall, which if you've listened to this show for more than 30 seconds,
Yeah.
So they've actually announced their next playable character. What's the name again?
The Myrmidon.
The Myrmidon.
Yes.
Myrmidon is the next character you're going to play, which, excuse my language, but a motherfucking, what was it? Minotaur!
Yeah, it's a Minotaur. It's a Minotaur that has like the most violent looking armor I've ever seen on a character in a game.
Cool.
And
so fun.
Either a fucked up axe or a fucked up mace. That's what you have to work with here. The link in the show notes has a bunch of images where it shows like concept art for different armor styles and weapon styles, and they're all really fucking cool. I read a bunch of stuff on the forums about what the like community thinks this is going to be, and I think the general consensus is like tank that also is just enormously DPS-y, like violent tank. That's what I heard, because they have like a tank that's like parry, block, prevent, like mitigation damage, and they're speculating that the next character after this, or what they think they're going to release after the Myrmidon, is going to be like the dodgy style of tank, not damage mitigation style tank. So
just flat up not take it.
Yeah, just flat up.
Kind of like stalker tanking.
Yeah, kind of. Just dodge. Can't hit me, bitch. Suck it. But yeah, this might be the like, I'm just gonna do a fuck ton of damage and hope that I kill you first kind of experience.
Or he could just be I have a fuck ton of health.
Maybe.
Maybe it's because the first tank has got tons of armor. So you've got armor tank, health tank, no takey damage tank.
No, take one health tank that doesn't ever lose that one health. That'd
I've got one hit point, but I don't ever get hit.
That would actually be really frustrating. Let's not bring that up ever again. I don't want to give anybody any shitty ideas. But yeah, it's really cool.
The Confessor looks really cool. Or not the Confessor, the Myrmidon.
Yeah,
sorry, I was looking at the next piece of news.
Yeah, the Myrmidon looks really cool. There's like 3D models in the post as well, which also look really fucking cool. And then also, there's an interview that they did with Worth Playing, which I've never seen Worth Playing before, but they seem pretty cool. Their site's kind of like texty, but there's a lot of good information on it, so that's good. So go check out that interview. It's a lot of like basic information about Crowfall. It's like, why did you make Crowfall? What are your goals with Crowfall? So if you're into Crowfall already, like I don't think it's going to give you very much, but
yeah,
if you haven't seen Crowfall or you haven't like researched Crowfall at all, this would be a great place to start. Good
cool.
times.
The next piece of Crowfall news is the fact that they went ahead and went back and looked at the Confessor and have updated their animations for it. And what I really love about this video is, one, the fact that they're still going through and refining things. It's not like there's like, okay, Confessor's done, and then go to the next project. Right. It's like, all right, no, we've realized that it's not working. We need to go through and we need to really take a look and see how this is working and where it's not working. And but the next part I love about it is the guy that's actually talking about the animations for it, because he like snaps while he does it, like not like snaps, but he's like, yes, so her ability, she just goes snap, snap, snap for her ability. It's just like, yes, I love you.
$10, you did it on purpose. He wanted to add a little extra pizzazz to the video.
He's just like,
snap, fire,
but,
baby,
yeah.
snap. I can't even snap.
Yeah, they're going back and he goes in depth in talking about why and how they made these changes. Not how, but why they made these changes. They're like, okay, it didn't feel like the ability was actually casting when you were hitting the button. This is allowing you to actually see the warm up or the build up for the attack before the actual release of it, and it's actually timed, and it's all about the look and feel of that character and when you cast an ability or when you do something,
right,
which I really loved about it.
Yeah, and it's similar to the last video, Crowfall video we talked about on was it Slash Yale? I think it was Slash Yale last week, where they were doing the Druid audio tracks, and they were discussing like, and it was a little different format because the audio one was more like a meeting between different people, and they were discussing something, but they didn't really realize they were on camera. This person's speaking to the camera, so he knows he's on camera. Yeah, heavy quotes about not realizing they're on camera. But yeah, this one's more like educational in the sense that he's explaining stuff to an audience that he understands doesn't necessarily know what developers do or why. The other one I think was great because it was explaining stuff like in a way that developers explain to each other, and I think that's like that has its own merit and entertainment value. And also, I think it's weird that I'm so interested in these other people's just regular jobs. Like, they're just like, I'm going to go to work. All right, now I'm going to go get a beer. And I'm just like, no, go back to work. I want to watch you work more. It's just probably weird. But yeah, the animations look really fucking smooth. I'm super into them. I can't wait to fucking play. Why haven't we bought this game? Why haven't we pre-ordered this game yet? Can I ask that question on camera?
You can. I just don't have the answer for it.
No, but why haven't we done it and then played it together? That's my question. Is it like super expensive? I don't remember how much
I think because they're still in like alpha right now, so I think it's like $150. I don't know. We need to do some research before I can answer that.
All right, let's do some research.
Well, and the last piece of news, the last piece of news we have this week is actually World of Warcraft Legion. So Legion has added something in that I think should have happened the second they added the boost system. So what they're doing is they have decided that, hey, a lot of people are getting into the game right now. And so when you buy the newest expansion, you're automatically given a character boost to max level. Or, well, max level minus 5. Right? I think it's like 100 is the max level you get. And so they're saying, okay, well, you're going to be going to max level of a character that you've never played before. You don't know if you're actually going to like it. And that boost, if you want to get it for another character, costs like $20.
Right.
So they're like, all right, well, how do we get this so that people don't have regrets, or they, email us going, oh, I did the paladin's shit and I don't want to do the paladin, blah, 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 blah. So what they've decided to do is they're actually giving you a class trial where you're able to go in and play as the max level character, but they teach you how to do the basic abilities. Like you're on a boat, at least in this one, you're on a boat and they're teaching you how to use your main abilities and when to use your main abilities.
Mhm.
And then the boat gets attacked by Legion and you have to go attack the Legion, defend the boat and stuff like that. And so it's like you're using a practice dummy, learning how to use the abilities. Then they have a couple, other players, not players, but they have characters come in and attack. And it's a really interesting idea. And then after it, you can basically say, yeah, I totally want to play this character, or no, I'm not feeling it. And then you can turn around and do another class trial for a different class. Love this idea.
Which, like,
love this.
This is the main problem that we had with me starting to play WoW, is I'd make a character, play it, and then I'd be like, but what if I want this other character? And I'd make that character and play it. And Indigo and Doc are just leveling shit because they know what all the characters are like, and I don't. And so they're just leveling shit. We had characters that we started at the same time, and then they'd get ahead of me because I started doing something else, and then they would get ahead of me again because I started doing something else. If I had just had a place where I could sit down at the very beginning and just play through all the characters in this little trial zone without even considering the boost, I think this should just be a thing for people that start playing WoW. Like, oh, this is your first time in WoW. Which character do you want to try at level 100? It should just be an option across the board. And it should never...
No, I don't... no, it says to help you with if you get a boost. I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be available if you don't have a boost. I think it's part of the boost process, I think, is what it's going to be. But that's not what I think it should be. Yeah,
it should 100% be a part of it.
I don't know if it should be mandatory, but it should at least be an option.
No. I'm not saying mandatory. I'm thinking it should be a part or an option where it goes, hey, here is, and this is the thing, is it's a small area. It's not even a long quest, and you're going to be repeating that same quest line, for every single class character for you to decide which one you think is going to be the coolest at level 50 or level 100.
Right.
I just like the option of having that added in there so that people can try other characters.
Yeah, and
especially since they're new. And, with the World of Warcraft movie being out, it is a suspect that we're going to see an influx of new players coming into the game because of the movie. So.
Oh, yeah, they're not reporting that anymore, though.
What?
Sucks. New player count, remember? Last week they said they weren't going to report new player count, so we won't even know if World of Warcraft movie, what's it called? Warcraft? The fucking Warcraft movie. We won't even know if that affected player count because we'll never know what the player count is ever again. That's sad. Yeah, I don't know. I would much rather regret losing $20 because I boosted the wrong character than I would regret losing a week from leveling the wrong character from scratch. I think that this is a great idea implemented in a way that doesn't target the correct group of people. But I get where they're coming from in a business perspective. They don't want people to regret spending money. They don't care how people feel spending their time as long as they're still paying them. Whatever.
They may be more likely to boost a character. And it also teaches, it flat out tells you this is this ability you use to build up this ability. So when you have a fresh 100 and you're trying to do a dungeon, and you're doing a dungeon for the first time with a brand new player that has a character that has leveled up to 100,
that could be a mess.
Has never played the game before. Yeah, it's a fucking mess. So by adding this tutorial, it's helping newcomers as well as helping people that have been playing for a while.
Right. Well, good on you, Blizzard.
But yep. And then the last little thing, and we're not going to go in depth on this at all. It's just we're gonna put it out there for you guys if you want to watch it. It is a dev update video for Legion, and they flat out tell us in that video, yeah, everyone's just kind of full force on Legion right now. We're just doing everything we can. Yeah, exactly.
But hey, that's what we're doing too, Blizzard. Well, that and playing your game Overwatch.
And Hearthstone and Diablo. I play all of them except for Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah. Does anybody play Heroes of the Storm?
Yeah, I'm sure someone does. I don't know.
Well,
anyways, that's it for this week. That's all of our news. Unless you got anything else, Croog.
No, that's all of our news for this week.
Sweet. So, guys, thank you so much for watching this very awkward and strange episode of Slash Yell. And for those of you who are listening to it, it was awkward and strange if Krug edits it out. But that being said, if you guys want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on Twitter at IndigoQT, or you can reach me on email by emailing me at indigo@QueueTimes.com. That is QUEUETIMES.com. Now, if you want to hit us up as a whole and talk to us on Twitter, you can hit all three of us with one Twitter handle, and that is _QueueTimes. Krug, what's the best way people can get a hold of you?
You can get me at KroogQT on Twitter. You can also email me. My email address is Krug@QueueTimes.com. And if you want to reach all three of us by email, you can email yell@QueueTimes.com. Because email groups are great.
Said the IT guy.
Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please like the video, or like the podcast, or leave a rating on the podcast, or leave a comment on the video of the podcast, or subscribe to the podcast, or subscribe to the video YouTube channel page thingy, whatever the fuck. I don't know how you're watching this. Just do the thing that makes us happy on whatever platform you're doing it on. Yeah, that made sense. Or if you hated it, tell us why you hated it, because we want to know why you hated it so we can make you hate it less, right?
Absolutely.
Sweet. Cool. We love your faces. I'm not Philip DeFranco. God damn it. I'm sorry.
That being said, I'll see you guys in the forums.